CEOs of the big retail stores, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, who told him that they could be 2 weeks away from empty shelves. And everyone in America walking into a Home Depot or a Target or a Walmart and seeing empty shelves would know exactly who to blame. They would blame the president, who is now polling disastrously on the economy and on his illegal and inane tariff war that he is decisively losing. A Reuters poll finds Donald Trump's approval rating on the economy is now 37%. 57% disapprove of how Donald Trump is managing or trying to manage inflation, which is to say increasing it. Polling shows 87% concerned about inflation, 86% worried about the cost of living, and 76% concerned about a recession. Donald Trump has said he couldn't care less if the price of cars goes up. He said, quote, "I couldn't care less if they raise prices." Spoken like a spoiled rich kid who grew up to be a rich Republican president riding in the back seat of government cars.
Seen the ports? If you haven't seen the ports, go ahead and look in your search bar for Los Angeles ports or Seattle ports, because it is being reported they're an absolute ghost town. The last ships are coming in at the end of this month. And on the East Coast, it's not getting any better. The last ship coming in from China is targeted for May 10th. And if you look at ports in China, the largest port in China, it is an active, busy hub. So it shows you it's not something that's sweeping the globe here. This is not COVID. This is more directed. This is direct effect of Donald Trump and his tariffs. And I'm not going to come in here and fearmonger and say we're not going to have anything, but you better believe if ships are not docking and they are not taking goods off those ships and they are shipping empty, 40+% of ships are shipping like empty or close to empty, what do you think that's going to happen? The only logical conclusion is there are going to be less goods on the shelves. And it's not only going to be, your toys and electronics and things that you can get by without during a recession. The shelves will be empty.
And the CEOs of 4 of America's biggest retailers, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's, had to stage a mini intervention in the Oval Office. Why? Because his tariffs and threats to fire Fed Chair Jerome Powell were pushing us towards empty shelves and a financial mess. These CEOs didn't sugarcoat it. They warned Trump that the trade war with China was already squeezing supply chains, and if it kept going, Americans could literally start seeing barren aisles in stores. Real consequences for real people. This wasn't just theoretical economic policy. It was about diapers, food, basic household goods. And the pressure worked. After weeks of chaotic messaging and market volatility, Trump blinked. He told reporters he has no intention of firing Powell. And guess what? Wall Street exhaled. The Dow Jones jumped 678 points, the S&P up 2.3%, and the NASDAQ surged 3.3%. Investors were relieved, but they're not dumb. They know the damage isn't undone with one walkback. Even Trump's Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, he warned it could take 2 or 3 years just to rebalance trade. So let's not pretend this was some mastermind economic strategy. This was reactionary damage control. And here's the wild part. Trump only changed his tune after hearing it from billion-dollar companies, after weeks of ignoring everyone else, including the economists and small business owners. It took 4 CEOs to get through. That should tell you something. It's not about what's good for the country. It's about who has access to him. Power talks, and unless you've got a corporate jet or a Mar-a-Lago membership, your voice just doesn't matter. So when Trump claims every country has ripped us off, remember, he's trying to sell you economic nationalism while doing everything he can to keep Wall Street happy. And this time, the only thing that saved him from a full-blown crisis was a room full of CEOs saying, "You're about to wreck this place."
Record this. This is like the 3rd time without being interrupted. So I was listening to Hassan Pike this morning about the empty shelves and the ports are going to be empty coming soon. And he was calling it the tsunami. And he's not joking when he says that. Because if you look at it, once those last cargo ships come, that's it. It's done. Once they get to store shelves, that is it. And the fact that this is being compared worse than COVID is scary as shit. There's gonna be so much job loss, not job growth that our Trump keeps on touting. And the fact that the first people that are gonna get laid off are your transportation people. So it's gonna be like your trucking industry, your FedEx, your UPS, your people that work on the ports laid off. And then eventually people in the automotive industry will be laid off. And then it'll trickle down to your retail and your fast food and restaurants. Yeah, dude, this is a scary time. And I'm trying to keep calm in this, but I know the outcome that it's going to be probably, because I remember COVID and those grocery store shelves were crazy and the prices were insane. And the fact that we're going to that path, if not worse, is more crazy. I don't know, man. I think this is the turning point, though. The only good outcome of this problem is that you're going to see a lot of Republicans, a lot of Trump voters, and then, of course, all the Democratic Party try to get Trump out. In all honest opinion, because he's going to take the economy. I mean, there's going to be a shit ton of job loss, and affordability at the grocery store is not going to be a thing. So, with that being said, I think a lot of his supporters are going to be like, I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for my job to be lost or me be laid off until further notice, or I didn't expect my groceries to be this high, or if not higher, or now I can't get this special item at the grocery store because you don't know when it's going to come in. That kind of thing. And it's going to be a turning point for Trump. It's going to be a thing that's going to implode in his face. And I'm here for it. I think this is going to be the turning point, but at the same time, it's going to do so much damage to us as Americans and the economy. It is going to be so bad. But with that being said, I hope everyone keeps a positive outlook, maybe, or just keep your head on a swivel. And one more thing, can we stop giving Kevin O'Leary, or the guy from Shark Tank, a platform, because he was just on CNN and he was touting that he loves all these people being poor, that he loves this because it makes them want to try to be the 1%. Like, bro, I don't ever want to be a 1%. Give me enough money, like, I don't know, $500,000, and I'll stretch that shit out until I retire. I don't need to be making millions of dollars. I never wanted that. I don't think any American wants that. And if they do, I would hope they reinvested it in their community. But this dude is like crazy to say that he loves all these people being poor. And people idolize this guy because they want to become the 1%. Dude, I don't know. This world that we live in, and this timeline, is so fucked up. All I gotta say is, keep your head on a swivel, try to keep positive. Let's hope that we can make it out of this.
Telling you about about empty shelves that could be coming soon. Shortages could be closer than you think because of tariffs. As a business journalist, my sources tell me the number one recession indicator to watch right now is shipping volume. This allows us to track how many goods are coming into the United States. And Port of LA statistics reveal alarming trends. Import volumes are down 10% in recent months. Port of LA projections show a 20% weekly decrease year over year. If these trends continue, we could see empty shelves by as soon as summer, and that could lead to a slowdown in consumer spending and therefore potentially a recession. So why is this happening? Why are companies pausing these shipments? Well, my sources tell me that companies want to wait it out. They would rather decrease the amount of inventory coming in hopes of that triple-digit tariff on China getting decreased via negotiations than have to pay those tariffs out of pocket now. This is in part why industry insiders are trying to get the president to budge. Major retail CEOs have been rushing to Washington to implore the White House to decrease tariffs before it's too late. And to everyone saying recession indicators are found in the lipstick index or strip clubs, I can tell you as someone who has covered several economic downturns that the number one recession indicator to watch for each downturn is the one that measures the thing that caused the downturn in the first place. In this case, what caused the downturn was tariffs, and shipments are a way to track the impact of those tariff policies. Port shipments are also a way for us to measure when consumers like you will start to feel the pain of these tariffs beyond just what I see all day on Wall Street and financial markets. If you want to stay updated on this data and you want to get news that is sourced and not just aggregated from the internet, be sure to follow me.
America is about to learn how good we actually used to have it. The ports are empty. Food isn't coming in. Goods are not coming in. Everyone who works in the shipping industry is saying we are about to face a crisis much bigger than the empty shelves during COVID. We have felt entitled in this country to freedom, to democracy, to human rights, to unlimited food and crap to buy. We got lazy and we did nothing to maintain those freedoms and those rights. We assumed that other people would do it. We stopped valuing our own education. We stopped reading. We stopped being kind to other people. We got completely hell-bent on having more stuff, on having more money, on having more whatever, having more fucking Botox in our faces. It's a false ladder that we were taught to climb. And I don't know if this current iteration of Americans has it in them to survive the Great Depression Part 2, but I don't know if we're gonna have a choice, babe.
So today we are talking about ports. They have shipping containers that are empty. What does that mean? And it's only targeted in America. So what does that mean exactly to the American consumer? So basically what it means is if the ships that are coming from America, they're coming empty, they have no goods coming from China coming towards America, that means the supermarket shelves, they're going to be empty. And if the supermarket shelves are empty, that means the sales in the supermarket are going to be very low, or there'll not be any sales whatsoever. And if there are no sales whatsoever, it means the supermarket are going to lay off people. Yeah, people are going to lose their job because, well, if people are not buying stuff in your supermarket, that means what are you doing? Nothing. So people are going to be So people are going to lose their jobs because the supermarket will have empty shelves, which leads to no sales, which leads to mass layoff. When people don't have any jobs, then of course it directly leads to recession in the country. And mark you, it's not just consumer goods in the supermarket. This is going to affect all sectors in America. Why? Because China is play a bigger role as a partner of America. They manufacture goods for America and people consume in America, and that's how the relationship has been going on for the last 30 years, 40 years down the line. So with these tariffs war which are going on now, China has decided, you know what, with the tariffs which are going which are over 120%, companies in America, they cannot afford it, so they've decided not to buy any products from China, and now ships in the port are empty, no food, no products which are being taken to the supermarket. So in the next 2 1 month down the line, America will be experiencing empty shelves, and this is the result of the tariffs policy which the current administration has introduced. And that's why people say when you're going to vote, make sure you know who you're voting for. Make sure you vote somebody who has your best interests at heart. And this is what they call the FAFO season continuing. You fuck around, and this is the reason, and these are the results. So people are going to feel the effect, but tighten your seatbelt, come up with alternative. Try to store up goods which you're going to use as a family. Try to come up with alternatives where you're going to earn money. And in the next 4 years down the line, please choose wisely. Choose the right person who's going to help you to be able to take care of yourself, your family, and of course thrive as a community.